Welcome back to the podcast. We're here. We're chilling.
We have a guest today on the podcast. Finally, someone who isn't our mom. So
yeah,
that's exciting. We don't want to do too much of an introduction, so we'll let her introduce herself.
What's up? My name is Peace. I'm a model here in Toronto, and thanks for having me. I'm excited.
I'm actually so excited.
And I'm a little bit jealous of how smooth her voice is.
Yeah, we were saying like she sounds like a Spotify voiceover person.
Keeping it cento.
Yeah. She should literally be our intro.
Can we?
I got you.
We should
actually. I'm not joking. Like we'll record a track of her voice.
You can say exactly that. That was
no problem.
Perfect.
I'm here.
Okay.
Have me.
So we don't know too much about you. Mm-hmm. We just, I guess, unfortunately only see like through social media, so that's all we know. But
exactly.
I think something that obviously stood out to us a lot, that seemed to be in a lot of your captions and just like in your bio, was that you're somewhere changing beauty standards.
Exactly.
And that's something that we've touched on the podcast a couple of times, just briefly, but we only have like our two perspectives and just about how, like for us, it's really about how social media has shaped beauty standards for young women and men. I mean, we only have the young woman perspective,
For
but
sure, yeah.
both. So we kind of just want to like talk about that and have a discussion about that. And like, what does that mean to you?
Everything and so much, especially being in the industry, you know, like I went from being like a size 1 model to being like a plus size model basically in the industry. So like I've been in the trenches when it comes to like beauty standards and things like that. And like you saying that we are so shaped on like social media, it's the whole world that it shapes basically now with like trends, with BBL trends and all of that. People like suicide and like everything. It gets really, really deep. So yeah, like I think the one thing that I feel I model for is basically beauty standards and letting people know like just love yourself, be totally yourself, unapologetically yourself, because like there's no other person you can be.
No,
basically.
So true. And I think before we get more into that, I want to know like how you started what you're doing today. Like just give us a backstory, like who you are, how you started it.
Also because I feel like we don't know any professional models.
I don't.
And from the outside looking into like the modeling world, I feel like to people like us, it's probably something it's not. It looks so glamorous and like
luxurious, like oh my god,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everyone sees like the final touches. They don't see the models in 30-degree weather modeling parka jackets because you have to do a season before. Like it looks great, but honestly, it is really, really hard work. Like kudos to all the models out there. Like I got into it like I just want to be a glamorous girl, and then I was like, what did I sign up for?
So how did you like initially, first of all, a lot of also what we talk about is how we like initially get into certain career paths and like what makes us want to pursue those passions. So start from the beginning, like how did it go for you?
Basically, I used to live in Edmonton. I went to high school there, and no offense to anyone who lives there, but Edmonton is totally just dead zone. Like we call it Deadmonton, basically.
Oh, there's like nothing to do there.
There's nothing to do.
Okay.
So I was there. I was just in high school, 18 years old, trying to figure out what I want to do in life. And everyone's like, oh, like you're tall, you should model, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, definitely something I want to get into. And then I had a lot of friends who like we would just play with makeup. I had a friend who wanted to be a photographer, so we just combined our passions together, and I just started making like random pictures and stuff or whatever. And then I just started talking to people, and my friends were like, I want to move to Toronto and become a model. But it was just me just saying my highest dream was something that I wanted to do. Like I had no idea. Literally.
Yeah. And then we talk about
before we didn't know what manifesting was, you were already manifesting.
Yeah. Out of nowhere. I didn't even know what it was myself too. And then all of a sudden I had friends over here, and they're like, hey, like it's super popping in Toronto right now. Like you should move here. I'm 19. I saved a bunch of money, and I literally got a one-way ticket and moved here
oh my God.
out of nowhere.
Sorry, so when was that? Like what?
This was 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, January 7th, 2014. That was the day I landed here. And my horoscope said, pack your bags, you're going on a journey.
Oh my God.
I was like, wait, what? It was super freaky, but I love it.
Okay, so you came here.
So I got here. It was not fun. I was so broke. I missed my mom's house. Like, I was literally working on Queen Street at like a food like stop place, just giving people random food behind a counter. Like, it was not the life that I envisioned for myself at all. So I just got kind of in like this very dark zone, but I never really gave up. I was always like going to agencies and like giving them like my looks and stuff like that. Got turned down by every single person I ever went to. And then randomly I was going home one night and I decided to take the streetcar. Normally I just walk, and I'm waiting at the streetcar, and this buff, short, tatted man comes up to me, and I'm talking to my mom on the phone. I'm like, there's this man staring at me. If I start screaming, call 911. This is my location. And he comes up to me. He's like, are you a model? And I'm like, oh, thank God, you are gay. Thank God. And he was a photographer. I ended up going to his place like 2 days later. He entered me into this Elle Canada competition. From there, I got like top 15. Wow. Then I was signed to my agent. Then I was signed to an agency. And then it all...
So it spiraled from there.
Yeah,
So it happened,
exactly.
I feel like it happened like really quick, no?
It did. Like the beginning part happened really quick, but then once you got into it, it's just like you're doing free creatives and stuff like that. So you're never really making money. And even just like I started learning about myself too in that process, started getting into the whole where we're going to get into like beauty standards and trying to be like the best that I can be in an industry that wasn't really fit for me in the beginning. And it just goes on and on and on.
Can I ask you about like, if you feel comfortable talking on it?
Of course.
A lot of like what I think about too, and I feel like maybe Fran as well, and a lot of other just like millennials or people that are trying to adult is like taking the risk for being able to actually do something you love. And that's what you did. You literally packed your bags and moved to Toronto. And people, like, there's so many people who want to maybe not literally pack their bags and move, but just like stop what they're doing and just take that risk. So like, what did it mentally have to take for you to do that? And how did you overcome the struggle of, I guess, coming to Toronto and being like, oh my God, I have no money. What am I going to do? Like how do you overcome that? And like, what got you through that?
Sorry, not only that, but also like fear of like what other people are going to think.
Yeah.
Like, your family, your friends. Because I know for us, like, our family they are like, they're open to whatever and obviously open to our dreams, but there's also a part of them where it's like, you got to do this and that.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. Like for me, it started off with not even caring what my family had to say. Like I was like, okay, I'm 19. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. Like I just could not think of anything. I had tunnel vision. By the time I got to Toronto, I was like, did I make a mistake? But then I was like, if I go back, then what did I do all of this for? What did I risk all of this for? So like, don't get me wrong. There was many nights I cried, many nights I was like, what am I doing? What should I do? Should I do this? But I somehow just like kept going forward, kept praying, kept trying to manifest, and like kind of got where I am now. And it's still like...
That's crazy. Honestly, like, I praise people who are able to do that because it's so hard. I feel like you like make a decision about something you want to do and like you get there and you kind of like hit a wall and it's almost like make or break. It's either I'm going to continue pushing through this wall. Yeah. And for you, that was just continuing to reach out to agencies and do all of that stuff. And eventually you came across someone who opened that door.
You can't be afraid of rejection in life. Like you really just have to just keep on going. When you have like, people have been rejected with everything. You always go and hear, Oprah got fired from a job when she was something. Some millionaires don't become millionaires until they're like 50. Like you really cannot stop. If you see that vision for yourself, just the vision alone is going to take you farther than you can ever go.
True. And I feel like you have to have like a don't give a fuck mentality. Like
100%. Like it's easier said than done, but like literally life is an illusion at this point. Like you really just have to be in your own world and do your own thing.
That's so true. And that's why we like it's great for us to have someone like you on, because we always say that sort of shit. We're always like, you just need to go for it. And like we have our own experiences, but like people listening to this, like hearing it from somebody who actually went through it as well, like other than us who like just talk about it all the time.
No, but it's great.
Like, you know what I mean? You're attesting to the fact that if you push through your fears and those boundaries, you'll get somewhere.
For sure. One advice I would give people though is like, make sure you have a good plan. Like definitely regret, like there's moments I regret, like, that was really stupid. And obviously you learn from it as well, but make sure you have a decent plan. Like if you don't jump into things. If it's going to take you 5 months to do it, let it take you 5 months. Don't glamorize people. You like, don't go on even social media and be like, oh my gosh, this person's living the best life, I want to do that tomorrow, and let's take the wrong path to get there. Like really just take your time, believe in yourself, and you will get it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so what happened, I guess, when you said that you got to Toronto, the photographer kind of scouted you out, and then you entered into, you said the L Canada.
Yeah.
And then you got an agent.
I got an agent, and from there it was kind of just, that was kind of like, it went uphill, it was super great, and then it went downhill again, basically, just with like, again, trying to keep up with the beauty standards. Like, I was basically vegan. Like, now I could actually kind of admit, like, I probably had an eating disorder at that point, because I was like barely eating food, constantly working out. Like, I don't know what I was working out. I had nothing on my bones, and still looking in the mirror and be like, damn, I kind of look fat right now. Like, and now if I look at the pictures, I'm like, bro, I was hungry. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So from there, it was like going to like castings, and I don't know, I was really young, and I feel like even with my experience of going to castings now, I'm a bit older. So when I talk to like the designers and things like that, they treat me with a little bit more respect. But that back then, like, they were just, I was just a piece of meat. I've experienced so many rude encounters with certain people, and I'm just like, oh, so it just got, at that point, I feel like I'm so grateful that I went through that low doing something that I love, because it taught me to love myself and bring me to my now, I guess, purpose in the industry.
And so those beauty standards that you're talking about back then, which I mean, it wasn't that long ago, 2014, 2015, but back then. But I mean, how did you, like, was it because, just out of my own curiosity, within the industry, people you talk to, people that were at the castings were a certain type of look, or was it more social media for you as a model?
It's more so like sample sizes. Like, everyone at that time wanted the skinniest girl. Everyone, like, if you're the skinniest girl, oh, you're good here, you can go to New York, you can go to Australia. Like, they just want to basically exploit you if you are that good sample size, basically. And everyone, and I guess the modeling industry, it's just like the skinniest girl, the best skin girl, like that kind of basic, what you see on like commercials and Maybelline and stuff. Exactly, that type of stuff. And like, no, if you see these girls in real life, we have acne, we're just awkward. Like, you know, they try to make you into this perfect being, and then you start thinking you're this perfect being. And when in real life you're not, because no one is, you just start going crazy.
I mean, this does not compare probably to what you have been through as a model at all, but when you say that, it reminds me of the fact that, like, when we started recording this, and I would like look back at the YouTube video, and I'm like, oh my god, I
want to cry. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
no, but that's with everyone and everything, I swear.
But it's like, why? Because I think of myself, like, when I look at pictures and I'm posing with my like pouted lips and my eyebrows raised, I'm like, oh my god, that's how I look good. Yeah. And people will praise me and be like, oh my god, you look so good there. And then I see myself on camera talking and making expressions, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm not actually like, I don't even look that pretty. Like,
no, first off, you guys are gorgeous.
But that's just what that reminds me of, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
like, they set a standard for you kind of to be a certain way.
Exactly. And like, when you're at the top, there's no other place but to go down. But it's such an illusion. Like, it's not that. We are just a whole cycle and a whole blend of different things.
And I can't even imagine that, because you have cameras on you like 24/7. It's not like you can tell them, no, this is my good side. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like,
no.
Whatever angle they want.
That's what I told him.
We're like, we need it here because that's our good side. Like, there, it's like we're getting every angle, every inch of your body. So like, you looking at that, I'm sure it's kind of like,
and
right,
it's like struggling. I'm still my biggest critic, but like, that's when you have to learn like the art of not giving a fuck. It's just like, okay, cool, that's it. If someone might hate it, someone might love it, and I'm just gonna go on with my day.
Right. I have a question about like boundary setting in, like, I guess your industry, when it, because you say that now, like, you have a purpose, right? Like, in the like, you have a specific purpose, and that's changing beauty standards and showing everyone that you can be yourself. But was there a certain point or like a certain story time or encounter where you were like, hey, I'm not going to take this bullshit anymore, and this is what I'm going to do from here on out. I'm just going to lay it down to them. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, I think I've had a really good journey, and everything that I've kind of dealt with was very like internal and things like of that sense. Like, I've never was at a shoot and be like, no, that's not okay. Like, because mostly, honestly, everything has been okay. Like, I've been able to work with really great people. Like, shout out to my agents. They always match their girls with like the right people. If there's any like, oh, this guy's kind of like a predator or whatever, like, they cancel them off the list. Like, thank goodness. But like, I mean, there's certain times where even literally 3 days ago, I had an experience where I got this call sheet to go on a shoot. They just gave us like,
What's a call sheet? Sorry,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, no, it's okay.
I should let you know. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
A call sheet is basically, it tells you the model when to come, what to wear, stuff like that. Just the basics. This is where it's going to be. This is the closest hospital, stuff like that.
Oh,
just in case, you know. So I got a call sheet. It just said, you know, be at this address at this time. That's it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was like, it's going to be chill. She was for like a skincare line. So I'm like, oh, whatever. It's going to be calm. I wore heels. I looked cute that day. And I called my Uber. I got to the location and I seen a makeup artist with a table in the middle of a parking lot. And I was like, oh no, this is an outdoor shoot. And like one thing about me, like I once had an outdoor shoot and it was so hot they didn't feed us. I literally fainted. So I have this thing where I just don't, like, I need to know if it's an outdoor shoot or not so I could just prepare myself. That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't say that. It was really weird. And then I got my makeup done. I was like, whatever, it's not that hot. And then a car came and picked me up and took me to this location. And this location, I kid you not, was like in the middle of a bush, basically. I don't know. It's like a little entrance and then it's like a forest. And I thought a coyote was going to come and get me at any point. There was like the grass was like up to my knees, basically. Like it was just really weird. And they're like, oh yeah, just stand there and like move and blah, blah, blah. And then I had to tell them, no, like, honestly, I don't know what poison ivy looks like. I didn't know any of the conditions of this. You need to like let your models know. And they were like a newer production team. So I wasn't rude about it, but I just let them know, like, listen, if you want to have models and this is the type of conditions that you want to put us in, like, we're still human and there's certain things that we will not do. I don't care how much you're paying me. Like, my safety comes number one. So I just had to like let them know, like, you know, safety conditions. Like a lot of people look at models like, oh, they'll do anything, but like, no, we won't.
Yeah. And that's again something that how it looks like from the outside looking in. It's like, oh my god, like these models will, like, you call them to do something and they're there. They'll do it.
Like, oh, jump off a cliff for the look. I'm like, for the shot. I'm like, no.
For the aesthetic, just jump off the cliff for us.
Exactly. It's like, no, like, give me the green screen.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I didn't know that. You like, they don't tell you the location of.
See, normally sometimes they do and they should, but just for like, there's a few times when I didn't get that. I'm just like, is it because they know I'll say no or something? Like, I don't know.
They want to like suss it out when you come. They're
exactly.
Like, we'll see do it.
Yeah, or maybe they just don't care. But hopefully now they know.
What was your like favorite shoot or like experience with you modeling? Like, your most favorite one, if you can pick one, or if you can say.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're such like newbies.
Yeah, I love it.
We're like, tell us your favorite story.
For sure. I think my favorite client that I worked for was Nordstrom.
Oh,
and yeah, like it was basically about like being ourselves and just, I literally walked in. I was so I was this close not to go to the casting. I was super hungover. I didn't want to do my hair, so I literally just got a head wrap and wrapped it around my head. And I went to my casting and I was like, oh, like they may not like this, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm here. Yeah. My agent can't say I didn't try.
Yeah.
I walked in. They're like, oh my gosh, I love that look, blah, blah, blah. Ended up booking them the first campaign. We had like a whole billboard on Young and Dundas. It was super brilliant. Wow. It was amazing. And I literally wore the same head wrap I wore at my casting on the actual like campaign. So I was like, okay.
So they loved it.
They loved it. So I was like, thank God.
That's like what I like to see. It's like just people in their natural habitat.
Exactly.
Because I don't know why like companies, brands, whatever, Instagram people think that the perfect quote unquote person is going to attract viewers, you know what I mean, is gonna make people want to buy, like, I mean, maybe that's just how I think, but I want to see like real people doing real things. Like, I'm not gonna be more inclined to buy a product if it's from someone who's quote unquote like perfect looking, and no hate to them, like, whatever, but
I feel like before even, like, you know, we were so into this, like, everyone wants to be glamorous, this and that. But the older we get, and now, like, us 20-year-olds, we are now the future. We are the ones that are changing what's going on. And we are smart enough to know, like, nah, that's not really what it is. This is actually how it is. We're living it now. We're the ones who are in charge of, like, the creative direction of certain brands and stuff now. So thankfully, hopefully, like, things are moving in the right direction when it comes to that, for sure.
I was going to say, I do think like now our generation's becoming more progressive and like what they think is like body positive or body image.
Exactly.
You do still see, and again, like no hate to Instagram models at all. They're gorgeous, but you do still see like, you know, BBL, big tits, big boobs, small waist. And for me, being someone who's always been petite with no butt and like hardly no boobs, I'm like, shit, like I don't look like that. Like, you know what I mean? And that was something that I struggled with a lot too, like especially throughout the pandemic. We've talked about it before. Yeah. When like you have that period to yourself where you're kind of just thinking about like, I don't know, what you like about yourself, what you don't, whatever. And I see all these Instagram models, I'm like, shit, like that's like tough. But now it's, I don't know, I think it's becoming more progressive about just loving yourself. And that's something that I think everyone needs to practice.
100%.
I think this podcast too, just seeing yourself talking and just like being authentically you has made me realize like, fuck, who cares about,
that's great,
you know what I mean?
So great. And that's like that's the human journey. I feel just learning to love yourself. At the end of the day, like what else can you do? There's nothing else to do.
Exactly.
I'm wondering too, like have you, like, since you've kind of been on this journey and like you've made this point to kind of have a purpose within your modeling journey and career, have you had women like reach out to you?
Oh my gosh.
Say thank you? Because like I feel appreciative of you. I don't we hardly know you that well right now, but like I feel appreciative just about how you think about it and how you speak about it, because I think like for aspiring models out there, like that's so great to hear. For sure. So I'm just wondering, like, what encounters have you had with people?
Mine are so funny because literally, I kid you not, like at least once every 3 days, I have some girl like, oh my gosh, I have such a big forehead and I've seen your pictures and I'm just so thankful. And I'm like, you know what? Why not? Because I used to be that girl. I used to wear bangs like 38/7, like
that's me.
Constantly,
I'm not joking.
you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, you know, fuck it. Like, come see my face. This is what it is, and we move on. Like, I have a big forehead, so what? Like, I don't care. And then like even girls with gaps are like, oh, like I've been wanting to like get braces, but now I see you embracing it, and it's just like, yes, like that is literally the only thing I do this for. I don't care about anything else. If I can make somebody else feel more comfortable about themselves, I've done my job.
I love that.
That's it.
I love that. Listen, I've been self-conscious about my forehead since I was like, I don't even remember. All I do is wear my hair back in a ponytail, and so like I don't know what's going on, but I think it's like pulling back my hairline a little bit even more.
Receding.
Like, yeah, everyone's like, your hairline's receding. It's fine. I'm like, oh my god, but I love that. It's true. Like, this is just who I am. Like, I'm not gonna spend thousands and thousands of dollars trying to
get
fix
a whole.
all.
Yeah, no, I hate needles. Forehead. I can't even get my blood taken, let alone any type of surgery.
Can you imagine all those things that you would want to fix that you'd have to do that for? And then there's people like you know, like just embracing those things.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I can't be bothered, honestly.
That's amazing. You wanted to ask her about horoscopes.
Oh yeah, because we were reading the DMs. You're like, I'm a Gemini, so are you into like horoscopes?
I am for sure.
What's your guys' signs? This is off topic. This is so off topic.
But like,
but do you know like all about signs and stuff like that?
I know a bit.
We wanted to ask you to guess what you think
we are.
Would be.
Oh my gosh.
Just like from your first like impression.
I'm scared.
I feel like Libra.
Both of us?
For one of you guys.
Oh, that's Sam.
That's me.
Okay. I'm getting Libra energy. Okay. Very like kind of balanced, but still determined. And the other, I might say like Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Or Aquarius.
I'm a Gemini too.
Oh, air. I was like, okay.
Air, yeah.
Love.
I can see Scorpio though, because I'm kind of like,
you have that spicy, but then you have like kind of the intellect, kind of like down to earth kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, but we're like, I'm so into horoscopes for some reason. I just think they're so interesting. I literally read my horoscope every night before bed, and I'm like, this shit's gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, my friend's like, you're crazy. Like, it's just literally made up. I'm like, it's not made really up. And even Sam too has been so into like, well, we both just like manifesting, like you said, like law of attraction and like just raising your vibrations. It makes a huge freaking difference.
It is literally like transforming. Even today, I feel like I started my day off really weird and it's ending on such a high. And it's like, oh, okay, that's what manifestation is like.
Yeah,
I felt like that too. Like on the way here, I was like, I was working all day today. I mean, this is so random, but anyways, I was working all day today, and like I just started this new job, and I was a little bit stressed. I'm like, fuck, like I don't want to come and do this podcast and like not be able to
be like, on the like
but like I feel good, and it turns out good because like in the car I was like, you know what, I'm gonna meet a new person. We're gonna see new faces. Like this is gonna be great, and it turns out good. And you're able to like have a conversation. So I'm trying to live by this law of attraction too. Yeah. But
it's like it's a journey, but it's like it's so great. I don't know, like. I literally wake up, I read my horoscope, and then now I'm super into like what are they called, like affirmations basically.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like my new affirmation for the week is I surrender to success, I surrender to wealth, I surrender to divine timing. And I say it like 3 times every day, and then something kind of happens. I don't know.
You don't even realize it too. It's just something happens and you're like, oh, okay, like it's because I attracted it. Also, it's just so weird. I don't know if it's just me, but I see like animals.
What do you
like
mean?
Spirit animals. Like I will literally like I want to see this sort of animal,
mine is
and it will come to me, and I'll be like, holy fuck! Like
you'll see it in like real life.
Like a grasshopper was in our fucking house the other day. Like,
like huge.
There's like a random ass. It looked old and wise too.
That's really cool. No, if your gut is telling you that is what it
like,
is,
it looked like an old like grandfather grasshopper.
You low key broke its leg with that cup.
Oh no!
Well, I was trying to get it out of the house, right? So I was like,
like
a dog, and the dog was trying to bark at it. So I trapped it and tried but I broke its leg. I felt bad.
Oh my god!
But then I looked it up after, and it was like spiritual wealth and like abundance. I'm like, I accept that, and I believe
exactly
it was supposed to be in my house for a reason.
100%.
Or like we said this story before, just really quickly. One time we were like, I think we both said it that we wanted to see like 2 white butterflies, and we were sitting down at the bench at like our Nina's house, and kid you not, sorry, grandma,
I know.
2 white butterflies like came and then like went one way to me and then one way to her. It was sketchy as shit. I was like, holy fuck. Like, that was so random. But like,
I don't believe in coincidences at all. Like I think if you call something and you see it, like it's meant to be. I have literally everything happens for a reason, like tatted on my shoulder.
Yeah, I love that.
It seems so like ambiguous and just like of course everything's, but it's like some people don't actually believe it. Like things are meant to happen at a certain time, I think. You know what I mean?
100%. And divine timing is a thing. Like, if I didn't take the TTC that day, then I would not have been sitting here.
It was in that fate that, like, that guy came up to you, thought he was a weirdo, like, get the fuck away from me, and then he was like, hey, girl, like...
I'm like, okay, cool, let's go.
And also, it's, like, such, like, a mundane thing, like, taking the TTC. Like, you're not going to think that's going to make or break your... next 7-8 years of your life. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's like
exactly.
That's crazy to me.
I think my final thoughts about like your experience.
Wait,
oh, sorry.
No, I want to ask one more thing.
Okay.
Sorry, but I just want to know, what is a typical day in the life?
Okay, I want to know that too.
There is no typical day in the life.
Okay, what's like a typical like on a shoot day?
Okay,
let's say a typical just like day in the life on a shoot day.
So the night before, I literally go to bed at like 10 p.m. Beauty sleep is a real thing. Get your sleep, everybody. Sleep is amazing. I wake up. I love shoot days because I don't have to do my makeup or hair. So I literally just wake up, wash my hair, blow dry it, or whatever they want me to do with it. I put a sheet mask on. I put my mask on now in the pandemic, and
what
I literally
kind of sheet mask. I just want to know
something with moisture. Something with moisture, definitely something moisturizing to make your skin like nice and plump. And then I put my mask on and I go into an Uber and I go to my shoot. Like that's.
And how long are shoots usually? Like the whole day?
It depends. Like there's half days where it's like you're doing 2 looks, but then there's days when you're doing e-commerce and I'm literally wearing like 100 outfits in like 6 hours.
That seems cool. Again, that's something like on the outside that seems really cool, but like
we do like content days to take pictures. And I'm out of. I literally want to go home. Like the second we change outfits, so you gotta do more. I was
but like, honestly, content days. I've like just recently got into the whole content creating thing, and that's kind of harder than actual shoots. Like in a shoot, thank God I have my makeup artist, I have the actual photographer, but
you
like content days, exactly. Like you gotta do everything. Sometimes I do it myself, and it's just like, damn, like I need this angle, but like my
can't get it. Or like finding out where to go.
Exactly.
And like the reason why I asked that is because again, on social media, on TikTok, you see like day in the life of a model. It's like wake up at 6:45.
Yeah.
Stretch my legs.
Yoga and Pilates.
Yoga and Pilates to stretch my muscles and make them look nice. Granola bowl all the time.
You know, the perfect acai bowl.
Yeah,
like when did you have the time? I woke up at 10. I need to be out of my house by 10:30.
Like, they went to Revitasize and got that bowl. Don't even lie. Like there's no way. Anyways, do you have any more questions? I mean, Sorry, like I told you, like this podcast sometimes just goes like rears off the edges. Like we didn't stick to the whole.
No, it's totally fine.
Topics, but yeah, I mean, do you have anything?
No, I was gonna say, I think my final thoughts, like from what you said, is just to take chances. We always talk about it, and you never know where you're gonna end up. You never know like what's gonna happen in your life, and even just with beauty standards, I really, really love like
what you're doing.
Yeah,
like
it's amazing. I think now, especially for girls and guys too, who want to get into modeling or who just want to be more comfortable with themselves, just like own who you are and do not compare yourselves to like anybody. That's the worst type of criticism you can do to yourself 100%. Because you don't even know what's happening behind the scenes.
People are like, oh my gosh, they would come up to me like, you're doing so great, wow, I see you glowing up, blah, 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 behind closed doors. I'm like waiting for my next payment, and I'm just sitting here like, when's my next job gonna come, and blah blah blah.
But you don't know what's happening behind the scenes,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. And I guess like for your final thoughts, is there anything you want to like preach to anybody who's trying to follow their dreams or like specifically want to get into modeling?
Yeah, if you want to get into modeling, just be prepared to hear no. Like modeling is basically hearing no until you hear yes. But don't let that break you down. Go into the industry with a purpose. I think that's the best. Like whoever you are, if you're from a certain country, if you have a certain disorder or something, really like explore that and put that out in the open, because you don't know how many people that you can actually help, and you don't even know that you're helping them. And just like be you, honestly, and just love it and enjoy it. Love it, like enjoy it, and just don't let it beat you up or eat you up. Like just enjoy it, basically.
Enjoy life, yeah. And I think passion is what drives success. So if you're truly passionate about it,
you will get it,
and you work hard, you'll get it.
100%.
How about you? Any thoughts?
I mean, no, I said a lot of thoughts. That's probably it.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I loved it.
Very positive. I'm always here for the positivity.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, and maybe hopefully in the future we'll have you on again.
I would love to. Yeah, for sure.
Come back, and yeah.
All right, guys. See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.